They cannot pass up on this opportunity as the Detroit Pistons head into the February 5th deadline looking to add three-point shooting to this roster. They have been linked to the perfect stretch big to not only solidify this lineup, but to fill a position of need, as looking for three-point shooting to fill around Cade Cunningham is the key to success for a deep run. We're going to break down everything you need to know on this player. They have been linked to the perfect stretch big and so much more around this team. But before we get into that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching. And if you're part of the 99.3% watching this and you haven't hit the sub button yet, but you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the Pistons, make sure to go down and hit that free subscribe button. It'd mean the world, and we'll keep you up to date on the team. Now, with this team, we know heading into deadline, the biggest need and ask from Pistons fan is spacing being added to this team. Now, the Pistons are on a roll. There's no way to argue it. The top of the Eastern Conference, a team that is poised to go on a deep run. We can see right now having multiple games in hands on a lot of teams that were supposedly supposed to be over the Pistons heading into the season. We can see the Knicks, the Celtics, the Raptors, all below and 6+ games behind. This is a team that is looking to add help around Cade Cunningham, who's looking like an MVP caliber player heading into the deadline. Now, the big thing with the Pistons, we know how good Cade has been. The points, 97th percentile. Rebounding, 84. One of the best playmakers, if not the best playmaker in the NBA right now with 100% percentile, almost 10 assists a game. Cade Cunningham has been lethal, moving downhill, getting those mid-range shots, but of course, adding a scorer next to him that can also space the floor and add that value is something the team needs to do. Looking at Cade right now, just phenomenal shooting. Anywhere inside that paint, we can also see the mid-range shots almost dropping at a 50% clip. This is a guy that, of course, you build your team around. The Pistons have done that, and it's showing success. But going into Cade, of course, you need to add that extra help where this team has struggled to get that secondary scorer to get them buckets in the fourth corner, in the odd chance that, of course, Cade cannot do it. Now, diving into this team, and we've seen the reports flying around that right now, Giannis is looking like he's on the move. Now, listen, this is not the stretch big. This video is sponsored by Kalshi, the US's largest prediction market. Kalshi lets you trade event contracts peer-to-peer, not against sportsbooks, and Kalshi is available nationwide, including California, Texas, all the way to here in Detroit. And if you go down in the description and use the link plus Digest NBA, you get $10 when you trade your first 100. Now, looking at Kalshi, we know we're heading into one of the biggest times of the year, which is the Super Bowl. And if you want to trade on Seattle winning the Super Bowl, $100 gets you $148 in return. And using that first $100 that you deposit, you can also use the free $10 to trade on who will make an appearance. Now, we know Travis Kelce is not in the Super Bowl, and that probably means Taylor Swift will not make it, but Jason Kelce, if you trade yes, will make an appearance. $10 fetches you 13. It's a general smarter way to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Once again, go down and download Kalshi using the link in the description plus code DIGESTNBA to get $10 on your first $100 deposit that I was talking about. But this is a player that makes it very interesting and shows that the Milwaukee Bucks are a selling team and they want to get offers on their veteran players, and that's where it lines up perfectly where we got this report coming through. The Pistons recently expressed trade interest in Bobby Portis. Detroit possesses a $14.3 million trade exception that they can utilize heading into this deadline. Now, with Bobby Portis, a very interesting name. We know Bobby is known for his three-point shooting, but he can also bring more to the table. And with the team looking to add that extra shooting, it gets super interesting being linked to Bobby Portis, which almost feels like the ideal guy to trade for that you don't need to move a lot to get. Now, looking at Bobby Portis, 75th percentile in points, 90% in rebounding. Bobby Portis brings a bunch to this table, and the Pistons could get him for a lot cheaper than a lot of the names on the open market. We can see the advanced stats, offensive rebounding, elite defensive rebounder. The usage is quite high. The turnover ratio is low. This is a guy that could bring quite a bit to the team, and it dives even farther in when you're looking at Bobby Portis and the fact that he can space the floor on what a team needs at the very moment. Looking at Bobby Portis, 13 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, just shy of 2 assists. This is a guy that's a 58% true shooting, and when looking at the 3-point percentage, 46%. You can see where Bobby ranks when it comes across the league on how close to the basket. You can see 49% from the field when you get 20 to 24 feet from the basket. Bobby Portis is a name that's going to get very interesting the closer we get to deadline. I mean, looking at Portis's numbers, 41.5 from above the base. We can see from both corners, 53 and 54%. Bobby Portis feels like the perfect guy. Once again, Michael Porter Jr. is a name that we've talked about, someone that the Pistons have reportedly shown interest in as well. But if you're moving out pieces to bring in Michael Porter Jr., if you're attaching Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, a first and maybe more, is this worth it in the long run when you can get a guy like Bobby Portis once again to add to a group that's already thriving? I mean, looking through the numbers, of course, Cade's our go-to guy. He's going to be season after season, 25 points per game. Jalen Duren, 17. But it would be interesting to bring in Bobby to add another guy that's scoring above 13 points per game. Tobias Harris is sitting there, of course. Elite shooting out of Duncan Robinson, but it gives you the ideal of where you can go out, use your trade exception that you got in the Dennis Schroeder trade. Bobby Portis making 13.4 against the cap this season, a player option coming through in 27, 28 before becoming a UFA. This is the type of deal the Pistons could make a swing for. We know how open this East is. This is a team that wants to continue adding. They want to get better. Not saying they're not good because they're already elite, but at the end of the day, using that trade exception, which will come off the books in just a couple of months, is something the Pistons need to take advantage of. You can't let these exceptions just kind of walter away and not get this, of course, the Dennis Schroeder trade with the Sacramento Kings, open up that 14.1. But the big thing, fans, and kind of diving back into it, there's a lot to look at with this team heading into deadline. Of course, looking at the playoff picture right now, the Pistons sit number 1. They're on a run. There's no other ways to put it. 34-11 over the stretch, 15-6 away, 18-5 home. They're dominant not only on home court with their advantage, but also just purely in the league, win away games, anything in between. Is this the type of season that you are fine to go out and make this trade? Listen, they've been linked to another wing that brings the ability of scoring as well, but Bobby Portis makes almost too much sense in my mind to pass up again. Once again, I want to go back and look at Bobby's stats because we know what the man brings, but looking at the rotation, adding in that extra big, someone that can fill in the void at the PF position when we know Tobias Harris is not on the floor. He can fill in as a serviceable backup center if you need to do it. But the biggest thing with Bobby, once again, is that 3-point shooting, something this team consistently needs to get and looks at game over game. I mean, right now, I believe it was 6th worst in the NBA when it comes to 3-point shooting. But what is your thoughts on Bobby Portis? Is this the perfect fit for the Pistons, or do you rather go big game hunting, go after someone? I mean, we've seen the Giannis reports. Listen, that's a pipe dream. I don't think that's going to happen without mortgaging the entire future. And of course, I said in the recent episode, mortgage in the future. I don't mean just Jaden Ivey. This is Jaden Ivey, a first, Ron Holland, anything you can think of to land Giannis. Does Bobby Portis make sense? Let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We're back in another episode to keep right for that. But I've been your host, Mark. Bye, and take care, Pistons.